The starship Eclipse drifted silently through the void, its hull scarred from countless skirmishes and its crew weary from years of war. Captain Marcus Hale leaned back in his chair, staring at the holographic star map projected above the command console. The war between the Galactic Union and the tyrannical Zorath Empire had been raging for decades, and humanity had only recently joined the fray. Marcus, a former smuggler turned reluctant hero, had been thrust into the role of a freedom fighter. He didn't consider himself a hero, just a man trying to survive in a galaxy gone mad. "Captain," his first officer, Lieutenant Caravas, called out, breaking his reverie. "We're picking up a distress signal from a nearby moon. It's faint, but it's definitely there." Marcus frowned. "Any ID on the signal?" Kara shook her head. "No, but it's encrypted with Union codes. Could be one of ours. Or a trap," Marcus muttered. He rubbed the stubble on his chin, considering their options. The Eclipse was low on supplies, and they couldn't afford to waste time on wild goose chases. But if it was a Union ship in trouble, "Set a course for the moon," he ordered. "Let's check it out." The moon was a barren, rocky wasteland with a thin atmosphere and no signs of life, or so it seemed. As the Eclipse descended, Marcus and a small team of soldiers disembarked, following the distress signal to its source, a hidden underground facility. The entrance was sealed, but a few well-placed charges from their engineer, Jax, blew it open. Inside, they found a labyrinth of corridors and cells, all eerily silent. The facility was clearly Zorathian, but it had been abandoned in a hurry. Marcus's team moved cautiously, weapons at the ready, until they reached a heavily fortified cell at the heart of the complex. "Captain," Jax said, examining the door's control panel. "This thing's got more security than a Zorathian dreadnought. Whatever's inside, they didn't want it getting out." Marcus nodded. "Can you open it?" Jax grinned. "Give me 5 minutes." True to his word, Jax bypassed the security protocols, and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside the cell was a figure chained to the wall, cloaked in shadows. Marcus stepped forward, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. What he saw took his breath away. She was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her hair flowed like strands of starlight. Her eyes, large and luminous, glowed with an otherworldly light. She was tall and slender, with an ethereal beauty that was both captivating and intimidating. But what struck Marcus most was the look in her eyes, a mixture of defiance and desperation. "Who are you?" Marcus asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She tilted her head, studying him with an intensity that made him feel like she was peering into his soul. "I am Lyria," she said, her voice melodic yet commanding. "Princess of the Celestial Dominion. And you? You are not Zorathian." "No," Marcus said, recovering his composure. "I'm Captain Marcus Hale of the Galactic Union. We're here to help." Lyria's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then fate has brought you to me, Captain Hale. Free me, and I shall reward you beyond your wildest dreams." Marcus hesitated. He didn't trust easily, especially when it came to mysterious alien princesses. But something about her, her presence, her aura, compelled him to act. He stepped forward and began unlocking her chains. "Captain," Kara said, her voice tense. "Are you sure about this? We don't know who or what she is." "She's a prisoner," Marcus replied. "And we're not leaving her here." Once freed, Lyria stretched her arms, her movements graceful and fluid. She turned to Marcus, her eyes locking onto his. "You have my gratitude, Captain Hale. But know this, By freeing me, you have bound yourself to me. Where I go, you shall follow. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Excuse me. Lyria's smile widened. You shall see. Back on the eclipse, Lyria quickly proved to be both a blessing and a challenge. Her knowledge of the Zorath Empire was invaluable, and her insights helped Marcus and his crew evade several ambushes. But she was also intense. She followed Marcus everywhere, her presence a constant reminder of the strange bond she claimed they now shared. Why does she keep staring at you like that? Kara asked one day, her tone a mix of amusement and concern. I don't know, Marcus muttered, running a hand through his hair. She says it's some kind of cosmic connection. Apparently, freeing her made me her champion or something. Kara snorted. Sounds like a fancy way of saying she's got a crush on you. Marcus groaned. It's not like that. It is different. I can't explain it. Different was an understatement. Lyria's abilities were beyond anything Marcus had ever seen. She could manipulate energy, heal wounds, and even sense the emotions of those around her. But it was her unwavering focus on him that unnerved him the most. She seemed to believe that their meeting was destined, that he was somehow integral to her future. One night, as Marcus sat alone in the ship's observation deck, Lyria joined him. She moved silently, her presence both calming and unsettling. You are troubled, she said, her voice soft. Yeah, well, that's kind of my default state, Marcus replied, not looking at her. Lyria sat beside him, her luminous eyes fixed on the stars. You do not understand why I have chosen you. Chosen me for what exactly? Marcus asked, finally turning to face her. For everything, she said simply. You freed me, Marcus Hale. In doing so, you awakened a bond that transcends time and space. You are my protector, my guide, my companion. Marcus blinked. Companion. Lyria nodded. Where I go, you shall follow. And where you go, I shall follow. This is the way of the celestial dominion. Marcus sighed. Look, Lyria, I'm just a guy trying to survive this war. I'm not some kind of chosen one. Lyria reached out, her hand brushing against his. The contact sent a jolt of energy through him, and for a moment, he felt a connection, a deep, unshakable bond that defied explanation. You are more than you know, she said. And together we shall change the fate of the galaxy. As the days turned into weeks, Marcus found himself drawn to Lyria in ways he couldn't fully understand. Her presence was a constant reminder of the strange, inexplicable forces at work in the universe. And despite his reservations, he couldn't deny that she had become an integral part of his life. Their bond was put to the test when the eclipse was ambushed by a Zorathian fleet. Outnumbered and outgunned, Marcus prepared for the worst. But Lyria had other plans. Trust me, she said, her eyes blazing with determination. Before Marcus could respond, Lyria stepped onto the bridge and raised her hands. A surge of energy erupted from her, enveloping the ship in a shimmering shield. The Zorathian weapons' fire bounced harmlessly off the barrier, and with a gesture, Lyria sent a wave of energy crashing into the enemy ships, disabling them in an instant. The crew stared in stunned silence. Marcus was the first to speak. What are you? Lyria turned to him, her expression serene. I am Lyria, princess of the celestial dominion. And you, Marcus Hale, are my champion. In the aftermath of the battle, Marcus realized that Lyria's arrival had changed everything. She was more than just an ally, she was a force of nature, a being of immense power and purpose. And whether he liked it or not, he was bound to her.